Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time that you found me, yay, you're finally here. I've been waiting for you. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thanks so much for coming back. My subscribers already know that my goal is to save you time and money by giving you the scoop on filmmaking quality and content so you can decide whether or not you want to watch a particular film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Conclave, and I'm wearing red in honor of the Cardinals in the movie. This fascinating drama is now playing in theaters as well as on Fandango at home. The movie is rated PG. Now, this will surely receive some Oscar nominations for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, I'm thinking at the very least. But it is somewhat rare to have a PG rated film be nominated for such awards as Best Picture, but it's not impossible. To date, I think there are about 11 PG films that did win Best Picture won the Academy Award for that. So you never know. And this movie is getting a lot of Oscar buzz. So I'll tell you all of the details in just a minute. But first, the movie's length is 2 hours and 0 minutes long, but it went by quickly, I felt. My overall movie review mom grade is an A. I really enjoyed this. I'm going to explain the things I liked, the things I didn't like. I'll offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and we'll finish up with other films that are sort of similar that you might also really enjoy if you like this one, and vice versa. If you like those other ones, then I think you might like this one as well. So, but first, let me present a featured sponsored product today. The movie is based on the best-selling book by Robert Harris called Conclave. And so if you click down below in the description, you can see a link for the book if you want to read it before you watch the movie or even after you watch the movie. All right, so in a nutshell, this riveting movie is based on this book, and it came out in 2016. Robert Harris also co-wrote the screenplay with Peter Straughan. The movie was directed by German-born Edward Berger, who also brought us All Quiet on the Western Front, the newer one that came out in 2022, which was nominated for 87 awards and won 57 of them. It was really well done. Now, that being said, it's about World War I, and it's a tough movie. It was a tough war, and so it's not a feel-good movie by any stretch of the imagination. But you can see my review of that on my Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. So quick tips for parents. I think because of the content, kids are going to be bored. Teens might be interested. There's no profanity. You would hope that there wouldn't be any profanity when the movie is filled with cardinals and priests, right? Religious men who are not supposed to have potty mouths. There is, however, a lot of alcohol consumption and cigarette smoking, which seems odd to me for religious people to do all of that kind of stuff. You know, I think of clean living. Anyway, there is some Italian and Spanish spoken with and sometimes without subtitles. There's talk of an illegitimate baby, and there's a lot of talk of misconduct and rumors of scandals by previous popes and current cardinals in this fictional setting. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well are change, hypocrisy, ambition, secrets, progress versus tradition, tolerance, prayer, humility, faith and doubt, religious politics and certainty, and even a little bit of terrorism, which I found interesting. Now, onto the list of things that I really liked about this film. First of all, the cast is absolutely fantastic and includes 3 Oscar nominees. Ralph Fiennes, who gives an incredible performance and possibly might win Best Actor for his role in this. Stanley Tucci, I adore him. And John Lithgow, who doesn't adore John Lithgow? Give the guy an award already or an Oscar. All 3 are probably going to be nominated for Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, something like that. They were that good in this. Other standouts in the film include Isabella Rossellini. Now, she's not on the screen that much, but she is a standout and just was delightful and just did such a great job. Also, Lucian Montsmati, Sergio Castellito, and of course, Carlos Dice. Hopefully I'm pronouncing these names correctly. The film is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Visually, it's stunning. I mean, you've got the red robes and the white frocks and the gorgeous Italian backgrounds and settings. There are so many perfect vignettes that just look like artistic masterpieces. The cinematography by Stephanie, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, Fontaine, will probably get her nominated as well for awards of various kinds for her work in this film. The film was shot in Rome, Italy. Nothing was actually filmed inside Vatican City, but the set designs are extremely convincing, especially the Sistine Chapel. Many of the scenes take place there. Now, it's in the Vatican, and of course, the movie isn't actually being filmed inside the Sistine Chapel, but the set looks extremely convincing. I've been there twice and would readily return. It's so gorgeous with so much to soak in when you're there. And when you're there, the tour groups go very quickly, or even if you're not with the group, you're kind of pushed and propelled forward. And, it would have been awesome to just sit and stare for hours and learn all about everything. Now, secrets and scandals are uncovered slowly enough, yet so constantly that it just keeps you on the edge of your seat during the entire film. The twist at the ending of the movie is generating a lot of buzz. Now, no spoilers here. I don't want to ruin it for you. I had heard that it was ridiculous, and it did make several audience members that I sat with in theaters watching the movie laugh. However, I thought it was actually touching and even kind of sweet. It provided insight on how our weaknesses can actually become strengths. Now, some people are saying, oh, it's super political, it's woke. And again, I think the way that it was explained, I thought it was sweet. Let me know what you think. I think I might be alone in this opinion, but again, it was the way that it was presented and explained, and all that was included in it that I think added tremendous insight and profound reasoning that I really, really appreciated. I love that the film illustrated the sweet, often invisible service of the nuns instead of only focusing on the cardinals. There are many ways to serve God and our fellow man. The beautiful music by Volker Bertelmann was potent, especially when mixed with moments of silence and only tension-filled sound effects on occasion. I love the subtle visual moments which were filled with nuances. For example, we see a cardinal look out of an open window as a light breeze is on his face, well, we assume, suggesting the winds of change taking place inside the Vatican. I really loved that. And the turtles were a cute touch. I used to own 2 pet water turtles, just like the ones shown in the movie. Now, with all of that praise, really, there were only a couple of things that I could think of that I didn't like or thought could have been handled differently or better. For example, some viewers have complained that the film attacks the Catholic Church and its traditional values by showing how flawed the leaders are. Now, I don't think it's news that the leaders of the Catholic Church are flawed and human. And I'm not Catholic, but I absolutely want to defend the Catholics who might be offended. However, I wasn't offended as much as I thought I was going to be, because the flaws of humanity are exactly what this movie is about. None of us is perfect. It's our flaws and our weaknesses that compel us to be humble in a world that often demands unrealistic expectations, right? Roman Catholic theology states that the Pope is infallible. But an important distinction needs to be made. He is infallible when teaching doctrine and discussing matters of faith. He is, however, allowed to make mistakes in other matters. The only man who has never sinned is Jesus Christ himself. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. I believe that there's a mantle of authority that's placed on the Pope, but it doesn't in an instant transform him from a normal human to someone as equal as Jesus Christ. Now, if you're Catholic, you may disagree. And so I was really worried that the movie would turn woke and bash Catholic faith. I really wish that movies would portray Christians with respect and not simple-minded buffoons who use religion as a crutch, which is often the case in movies from Hollywood, right? I like movies that challenge faith in the sense that they cause us to really consider our faith and how we can grow and learn and think things out as well as feel things in our heart. I mean, the whole thing, rather than just bashing religion for religion's sake. So that being said, I really want to hear what you have to say about that. Now, whenever I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines so you can get a taste for the dialogue and the script writing quality. There weren't any funny lines, at least none that I had written down in my notes, although there are a few amusing moments in the story, but I wrote down a ton of really interesting lines, and you can read them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some of them with you right now. So Cardinal Tremblay is played by John Lithgow. He's so great. And he says, you know how rumor spreads, and 1.25 billion souls watching. And so these cardinals are very aware that everything that they do is being scrutinized among themselves, even as cardinals, not to mention the entire world. Now, there's a discussion about who should be the next pope. That's the crux of the story, is the former pope has died and passed away, and so now comes the election process. And so Stanley Tucci plays Cardinal Bellini. He's so great in this movie, and he says no sane man would want the papacy. However, another time, Stanley Tucci's character says every cardinal has the desire to be pope. And so Ralph Fiennes plays the dean of the school or the college of cardinals that have this task of selecting the new pope. And he's trying his darndest to choose the best man for the job, someone he thinks should be infallible, because that keeps, or not infallible, but fallible, because that keeps a person feeling humble and repentant. And that should be the state of a pope, constantly repentant and grateful for the ability to repent, for Jesus Christ's atoning sacrifice to help him become clean again in the eyes of God. That whole process. And I thought that that was beautiful as he was teaching the other cardinals what to look for as they were analyzing one another. Anyway, another interesting line is spoken by Jacek Coleman, who plays Archbishop Wozniak. And he says, the men who are dangerous are the ones who do want it, which is true because they're looking at power and control and maybe prestige. And that's not how I generally think a pope should behave. A pope should be very kind and humble and meek and service oriented and all of that. Now, I love this line. This was by Isabella Rossellini, who plays Sister Agnes. And something goes down. There's a scandal and nobody's saying anything. And finally, she stands up in front of all these cardinals and she says, although we sisters are supposed to be invisible, God has nevertheless given us eyes and ears. And then she kind of does some scolding and points out some things. And all the cardinals are like, oh, I thought it was really great. Now, Ralph Fiennes is Cardinal Lawrence, and he's having this conversation with Stanley Tucci. And he says, this is a conclave, Aldo. He calls him by his first name. It's not a war. And Stanley Tucci's character, Cardinal Bellini, says, it is a war, and you have to commit to a side. It becomes very political with sides. And that whole process is really interesting to see. Now, the whole time, Cardinal Lawrence, played by Ralph Fiennes, is trying to look in his heart and teach the other cardinals to do the same. And he tells them, there is one sin which I have come to fear above all others, certainty. If there was only certainty and not doubt, there would be no mystery and therefore no need for faith. And I thought that was fascinating. This whole concept of certainty is at the meat of the story. And in fact, I love this line, and I'm not going to tell you who said it, because that's going to be a spoiler, but somebody says, I know what it is to exist between the world's certainties. Now that's going to make a lot more sense when you get to the end of the movie and you find out what's going on. But somebody says that and you're like, wow, we do live in a world of uncertainties, and we need a pope that can understand that and help guide us through that in difficult times. All right. Anyway, obviously, I could go on all day long sharing these amazing quotes from the movie, but I wanted to share recommendations for three films I instantly thought of that are sort of similar. The very first one is Cabrini, which is also a gorgeous film to look at. The cinematography is equal, if not better, than this one, Conclave. It's just beautiful, and it's based on a true story about a nun, and the acting is fantastic. I just gave it such high praise. Be sure and watch that review, because if you like this one, you're definitely going to like that one. I think even more so because it builds faith. It does point out the bureaucracy and red tape of the Catholic Church as this Italian nun was trying to get permission to serve her fellow man. I will queue up my review of that one as soon as this one's over. So definitely check that one out, because I do think that one was just golden. Hopefully it will be recognized for some awards as well. Now, another movie, which is kind of sort of similar, is called The Letters. Now, this one is also based on a true story about Mother Teresa and her moments of doubt. Now, she was a famous Catholic nun who served her fellow man and was such a warm, loving soul. Definitely watch my review of that one as well. And then another, these are all movies that I've reviewed, is Father Stew. And it's also based on a true story, but it's a comedy, kind of a comedy drama, a dramedy. And it's just also really well done. And it stars Mark Wahlberg as a regular guy who all of a sudden wants to become a Catholic priest, and his journey in that. And it's so touching and so heartwarming as well. All right. I hope that this review has been helpful, because there is a lot of controversy swirling, and some people are hearing so many negative things about this movie, Conclave, that they're thinking, oh, I'm not going to go. It's going to destroy my faith, or it's going to just be bashing. But I think that there was a lot of good to be seen and had in this film too. So let me know what you think. I'm really dying of curiosity. By the way, those review links are in the description down below as well. When you get a minute, run over and visit me on all the socials, on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all over the place. And I've got a bunch of stuff for you there, as well as you can learn about when my books go on sale for free on Amazon. I've got 33 of them now, and my online courses, my products, and my other shenanigans. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.